Hey guys, how's it going? This is episode 4 of Gaming InSight, the gaming and Bethesda news podcast that happens every week or every other week depending on what's going on. And speaking of stuff that's going on, well, first of all, I am Skullzi. You should know me if you are watching the podcast. Along with me is KingFanMan. Go ahead,
Hey,
sir.
I am KingFanMan. I report on all things Bethesda, and I am at Quakecon. I'm in Dallas right now, outside, so y'all excuse the noise. But it is good to be here with you. I'm glad to be here on the podcast again. Thanks, guys.
Hey, my name's Joe. I'm from PlayItForward. I do Fallout content and other of like Starfield and Cyberpunk. That's it. You know, that's cool. And and I'm gonna start streaming soon. So,
Ooh, nice.
Up for that. Yeah.
But by now, everyone should know who we are for the most part. But I guess
yeah.
it's safe just to, introduce ourselves a little bit. But yeah, you guys know how we do stuff, what we talk about. Lately, it's always been Bethesda, and that's for good reason. We talk about Cyberpunk a little bit, but that's going to be kind of the same situation in today's episode. PlayItForward had to step out last podcast. He had some pretty exciting life stuff going on. Good stuff, which is good. So yeah, if you wanted to talk about that, you can, man. If not, it's all right. I didn't want to talk about it last podcast because that's kind of your...
Yeah, I'll talk about it for like 5 minutes. So, about 2 weeks ago now, I asked my girlfriend at the time to marry me, and she said yes. So, she's now my fiance, and I couldn't be happier.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Nice, man.
Thank you. After being in a super kind of, I don't want to say dark place, but I was depressed last year and for years, actually, for like almost 7 years. She brings out the best in me, and she's a heck, of a support system. So she's it, so I'm happy. She's happy. The whole family's happy. So that's what I've been doing, as of late. So yeah, been dealing with that. So
That is awesome, man.
yeah,
Well,
thank you.
congratulations. I am super happy for you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So that was more important than the podcast? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys,
You couldn't hold out until like Elder Scrolls 6 came out or something, man.
Oh man, no, no, sir.
No, congratulations, really, man. That's
thanks,
wonderful.
brother.
That is super awesome news,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
So
I
yeah,
appreciate it.
that's where he was last time. As you can see, it was kind of important, a little bit more important than this. But he's back. He's back, and we're back to talking about Fallout. Last time we just talked about Fallout 76 and everything. I'm sure you saw the podcast.
Oh yeah,
man.
watched it. Excellent job, guys. Excellent job.
Yeah, I want to
it.
get some guests on here. We just have to sort out timing and everything. Some
Yeah,
of our guests have their own agendas and stuff, so it's hard to get schedules set up.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, man. Yeah, so Fallout 76, the beta coming out a month before the game even comes out. And then what was the other news that they were talking about before Quakecon? They gave us a little bit more of an update on how the beta would work, right? Aren't they calling it early access now?
Well, kind
Instead
of.
of a beta?
They've answered several questions. One is good for us. There's no NDA. That means we can stream it. We can take pictures. I know that's not the beta, but that's awesome news. Another one is all of the beta progress will transfer over after launch. So everything we do during the beta transfers over. So that's wonderful news. There was another good news. What was the other good news, Joe? Do you remember?
No, to be honest.
Oh
with you.
yeah. The beta is the full game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it carries over full. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome to me.
Yeah, that was all great news. And then the one that everybody was, or some people were a little upset, was that it's not going to be on Steam at the first, at least. It's just going to be on the Bethesda launcher, and that got a few people upset. And the only thing I can see is that the Bethesda launcher don't have the social aspects that Steam does. Don't have the friends list and that kind of thing. But it doesn't. I'm a PC player. It doesn't bother me, but
Yeah,
I can see
same
where
here.
it would bother some people.
Yeah, I don't think that it not being on Steam should be like something to go crazy over. I mean, Bethesda has their own launcher, their own, platform, the Bethesda launcher. Elder Scrolls Online can be played through that or through Steam as well, so I guess they kind of go both ways. But I don't know, that maybe that's just going back to people finding a reason to get mad at something. I don't think it has
that's
to be
all
on
it is.
Steam.
Well,
if you have,
there's two. I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's
No,
two
go.
possibilities. One, it might be a financial issue. That's what everybody's screaming, because Steam does get a little bit of the money, and with this having a little bit of microtransactions, Steam would get a little bit of that, and Bethesda maybe, and that's that's. But Bethesda has also before not put games on Steam initially, and then later on have done it. They did that with Fallout Shelter.
Yep.
They did it with I think Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, and with this being something new, and with them not knowing how it's going to go, they won't have theirs until they make sure it's okay and stable, and then put it on Steam later. That's the way I think they're going to do it. So I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will go on Steam later.
That makes sense. They probably just... I mean, I think even to put something as early access on Steam, that might, like, make you have to have certain parameters to do it, or your game has to be maybe a decreased price. I don't know, but I know the early access dynamic on Steam is a big deal, and Bethesda's early access version of Fallout 76 probably wouldn't be the same early access version of any other game that's on there. Because it's more like a beta and like that, so maybe that's why they're not doing the early access on Steam. Maybe they would throw that off somehow. Who knows? But they have their reasons. But I mean, the game not being on Steam doesn't really affect anything. If you were gonna play with your friends, do you really need to see their icon pop up on your monitor to tell you that they're online? Can't you just set something up before you log on to the game? I mean,
Yeah,
would the game have
exactly.
a built-in friends list anyway, like most MMOs?
Yeah.
People just gotta get mad about stuff.
Yeah,
I want it
it's
on
just-
Steam.
It's really not a big deal. They could even update the Bethesda launcher to make that happen, like Steam. You know, it's just it's not a big deal. It's something that for people to complain about. You know, that's all it is. I think it'll be on Steam eventually anyway. Maybe like in a year, but it's not a big deal. I don't know why everybody's freaking out. It's honestly silly. It's something for them to pick at, you know, and that's what people have been doing with this title, just picking at different stuff. And it's like, come on, just knock it off and accept it for what it is. You don't have to play it. And there's some people who are complaining that that all your progress carries over into the actual game.
They're complaining about that?
They're complaining about that. If you
it's not
pre-order
fair.
the game,
How is it not
pre-order the
fair?
game, then you could pre-order it on Amazon and you won't get charged. Pre-order it if you want to have a head start.
Yeah, they say it's not fair because people that pre-order it will have a head start over those that don't. But everybody has the opportunity.
Exactly. We all have the option to do it.
Yeah, just look at it as the game's being released earlier, and then, I mean, you just buy it at launch that way. It's kind of the same thing. Like, it's not fair that someone gets to play the game before you. Okay, so carry that logic into any situation and see how stupid it sounds. You know, it's just how that goes. If you don't get the game early access, then you probably didn't have the money to do it, I guess, huh? I mean, that's the same reason as if you didn't buy it a month after it came out, or a year, or on the release date. It's not unfair. I mean, unless you want to live in a communist country where everyone has the same amount of money. I mean, like, that's just life, really?
Yeah.
Is it
I
unfair
think-
that
I
Go
think
ahead.
Joe hit it, though. I think people are trying to pick this game to death, and most of the ones that are doing it, I heard, and this was one of the major YouTubers, he's a Bethesda guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but he even said, I wasn't even going to play this game anyway, but now I'm really not, and he made a whole video about the Steam thing, and it was like,
why?
well, come on then, you know,
the
really.
Steam thing?
Yes.
Wow.
the
You
Steam-
gotta be kidding me.
I
But-
think it's because he...
But did you hear that statement? I wasn't really going to play this
Yeah.
game anyway. Well, come
But
on.
now I'm definitely not. Now I'm double not going to play
You're
it.
just being silly
Yeah.
at that point. You're being absolutely silly. You know what other game isn't on Steam? And that's the most popular game out there?
There you go.
Fortnite. Even
There
though
you
it's free to play, it's still the most played game. It's the most popular game.
God, that game annoys
So-
me, but I
and
like
there-
it at
and-
the same time.
And they're doing okay. Granted, it's free to play, but they're doing fine. Microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves it. They're playing it. So what's the issue? You're like, come on. Come on! I don't understand these people. I don't get it. I threw my hat in the trash inadvertently. I just don't understand. They just want to pick at something. That's all it is.
Ammo. That's what it is. It's a piece of ammo.
Gave us Starfield. They let us in on Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, and you're still picking at them for Fallout. Get out of here. Go buy the game.
What it is they decided they don't like this fucking game. Okay, they saw the people that was supposed to give them Elder Scrolls or a single player game is giving them an MMO. So they decided for that moment that they hate Fallout 76. They don't like it because of that, and they're not changing their fucking mind because that means they're a pussy. They need to hold on to their opinion, otherwise they're taking a knee. Whatever, but they decided they don't like this game, right? So all this stuff comes out, all this news comes out, every single time that Bethesda or anyone talks about Fallout 76, their faces rubbing against the computer screen because they're excited to hear something negative about the game. And when they don't hear anything negative about the game, their soul just burns with hatred. So they pick the most thing that could be construed into anything negative that they can, right? The most recent thing was, oh, it's not going to be on Steam? That's the only negative maybe thing that Bethesda said. So like you said, KingFanMan, the guy makes a whole video about it, blowing up about the 10% negative that Bethesda talked about, because his opinion is he doesn't like it. And he already said he doesn't like it, but now he doesn't like it even more because he doesn't want you to like it even more because it's not on Steam! Oh no! Oh, like, does it matter? It's not on Steam, who cares? Steam, it's a platform where you buy games on. Is it at Walmart? Are you mad that they don't sell it at Walmart? I mean, it's the same situation. Anyway, sorry, my rant's over with. Jeez. We all are ranting about this unnamed YouTuber.
Y'all don't stop, please. This is great. I made a point the other day, and it's true. If you never take a risk, you can never make something great. Bethesda's taking a risk with this game, sure. They're stepping out there and doing something new. But if you never step out there and do something new, I made a point. Ben Franklin stepped out there and did something new. But if he didn't, we wouldn't be doing this right here today if he hadn't done that. So
exactly.
Steam had to step out there and do something new, or Steam wouldn't exist. So, why can't we let Bethesda step out there and take risks? It may fail, but I'm behind them 100%, and a lot of their risks have turned out really good in the past. So, I'm behind them.
Morrowind was a huge risk, and you nailed it on the head, man. The fact that this is such a risky game is the reason that I think it's going to do good, because even Todd Howard, we touched on this on the last podcast. He referred to Fallout 76 like this like a child, like he's excited for it and what it's going to bring, but he's nervous about everything. Because it's a brand new thing, and they know that fans want single player, and they know this is not only their first attempt at MMO gameplay development wise, because they've never even made a 2-player game. Bethesda Game Studios has never made a multiplayer game until now. So that is how new this is, and on top of that, they know they need to do it right because it represents a lot of stuff for them. And they know we want single player. Like you said, they gave us the Starfield thing and the Elder Scrolls 6, and I think I've said this in the last podcast, but I'll say it again. Think of Fallout 76, because it is being made by Bethesda Game Studios. It's not being made by ZeniMax Studios who made ESO. It's being made by Bethesda Game Studios. So think of Fallout 76 as that secondary option for a Bethesda Game Studios game that is out there until the single-player ones that you love so much are coming out, that we all love so much. We have Skyrim right now, which we've had forever, and Fallout 4, which we've had forever. Probably burnt out on that. Fallout 76 is a new breath of fresh air for Bethesda Game Studios until Starfield comes out. Then you could go to Starfield, and you know what? When you get burnt out on Starfield, if that can even happen, because people are still playing Skyrim, people are still playing Oblivion, but if you get burnt out on Starfield, Fallout 76, which you've abandoned, will still be there with new content and a fresh of breath air to go back to until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. So this is constant reassurance that there will be a Bethesda Game Studios game there for you to play. So stop freaking out. Like, look at the positives. There's always going to be a negative to everything. Like, I like candy, but it's bad for your teeth and it makes you have diabetes. Whatever. I mean, there's a negative to everything. Why focus on that? Why focus on that?
Exactly. It's like this with Morrowind. Was that a good game? Was Morrowind a good game?
Well, for its time, yeah.
How about Oblivion? Was that a good game?
Oh yeah.
Fallout 3, was that a good game? Skyrim, was that a good game? Fallout 4, was that a good game?
Awesome
Why
game.
the heck do people think that Fallout 76 won't be a good game? Bethesda Game Studios will not release something that's not going to be good. Hence, that's why they're probably waited so long to release the beta. they're not going to release something that isn't good. This game is going to be good. Yes, it'll be online, but also remember private servers, and I think that'll be here sooner rather than later due to the backlash that they are getting. So I just think people, please don't buy the game yet. If you're a Debbie Downer, a negative Nancy, sour Susan, don't buy the game. I'm more of a positive Peter, you know. Just don't buy it, please. Don't buy it. Just stay away.
Get out of the house.
Watch
Leave.
the reviews. Let me enjoy it. Let Skullzi and KingFanMan just let us enjoy it.
Oh, we're gonna stream the shit out of this game.
I just don't understand. Oh, it's gonna be because it's online. Shut up. Because it's online. Get out of here with that. I don't know. That's what I think. I'm sorry.
It's too different, Morty. It's the same thing like Fallout 4, but there's other people playing it at the same time as you, Morty, and you gotta see them at the same time. Morty, even though it's only 32 people and the map is 10 times as big as Fallout 4, Morty, they're gonna be there, Morty. They might make the game not what you want it to be, Morty. And the single player thing, that means if I gotta click on single player, Morty, that means that I gotta click a whole nother button, Morty. Even though they say that you can play single player with it, I don't want to have to click a button, Morty. I just want everyone to be forced to do what I like, Morty. I don't like this. I don't know, Rick. I think the game's gonna be fun. I mean, they know people kind of want. No, Morty. I don't care, Morty! I made my decision. It's not on Steam, Morty. Oh, man. Anyway, okay.
That was good. Thank you for that. I enjoyed it.
I need to make a new video now. A new cartoon with Rick and Morty making fun of Fallout 76. Oh, seriously, though, guys.
If I can plug what I'm doing for just a minute, as I said, I'm here at Quakecon. They did answer those questions we've been talking about, but they're going to answer a lot more come this Saturday. And I can already tell, guys, it's going to be crazy down here. There's already people everywhere. We went into a restaurant to eat, and there were people with Quake shirts and Doom shirts. And I mean, they're everywhere already. And, of course, Todd Howard don't get here until Saturday. So it's going to be crazy down here. I can't wait. I can't wait to do everything. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock is the Doom reveal. So I know y'all are probably ready for that. Doom Eternal's revealed tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central. Cool. And then Saturday at 11 o'clock is the Fallout 76 panel where Todd Howard takes the stage, and he's going to give us a lot more game footage, I hope, talking about the perk system and the character customization, whatever, how much of a deep dive he's going to go in with that, and then start answering some of those questions off social media. So I can't wait with all that. And then I get to play Rage, y'all.
Yeah, hopefully. There you go, brother. That's awesome.
I may be going to do that right after we do this podcast.
Oh, nice, dude.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Dude, in fact, we were on our way to the convention center right when y'all said let's do a podcast. So I stopped here at, well, I won't say where I'm at, but I'm outside of a coffee shop. Y'all know where I'm at. So.
Yeah. Definitely, man. That's so exciting, dude. Nice.
But I'm drinking my tea instead of coffee. I don't know. That's what me and Wolfman were talking about. I don't know how long, but I figured there's not going to be as many people here today as there will be on Friday and Saturday. So we're just going to keep getting back in the line and keep playing Rage. You know, that's what we're going to do today.
Nice.
We're going to play Rage over and over and over. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And we'll tell you all about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll have
that's the main reason I came, is to play Rage.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about next podcast. And I need to be on your podcast as well, KingFanMan, sir. Maybe if you have time this weekend, we can touch base on what you've seen so far. I think that would be fun.
Absolutely. That'd be great. I'd like to get both of you guys on. That'd be wonderful.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Definitely.
Let's do it.
That
what
would be fun.
What are you most excited for Rage 2? Are you excited for just the way the game plays? Are you excited for the mix of magic with like a FPS thing, which looks pretty unique to Rage? What are you most excited for in terms of
there is so much about that game. I loved the first game, even though it had its own little quirks. But now with the two studios working together with the better vehicle mechanics going on, the huge open world, it's got Doom's shooting mechanics. Oh man, there's just so much that I don't know if I could narrow it down. It's just going to be an awesome game. It just gets me excited thinking about it. The whole thing. I think just the open world single player, do anything, go anywhere. You can go from being in a car, doing the vehicle battles right into the shooting. It's in the old games. Did y'all play the old Rage games? It was kind of separated. You had the vehicle stuff, and then you almost had a loading screen into the shooting mechanics. It's not like that this time. They said it's all seamless. It's all just one big open world. Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome. That makes me excited. It seems like it's almost like a Doom-style gameplay mixed with a little bit of maybe Borderlands with the open world elements, which is pretty exciting because I love Borderlands too. Borderlands is fun.
And Skullzi, I mentioned it to you last week. Anybody that is one of those Debbie Downers that don't want to play Fallout 76 just because it's online, then this spring, this Rage is a single-player, open-world, post-apocalyptic game. Then pick up Rage. I know it's not BGS, but it's a Bethesda game. And it's a world, like I said, post-apocalyptic, single-player, RPG elements at least. Pick it up and try it. It should be a great... It should at least hold you over.
This gets me so excited for the future of Bethesda Game Studios because they're working on so many things now, especially with the addition of Bethesda Game Studios Austin. But at the same time, I just have a feeling that the next generation of gaming going forward is just going to be amazing. Like, it's going to definitely push the bar. We're going to see different types of games that we didn't even think about before. It seems like everything is getting RPG elements to it now, which is pretty exciting because I like RPG games, so that's pretty cool. I like to see where that's going to go.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
And I love seeing them bring Avalanche in to the team. I know they're not part of Bethesda, but bringing them in, I think that's great. I don't know if they're going to be involved in the future, but I would like to think they're going to do a Rage 3 maybe on down the line. But I think Bethesda may still be wanting to grow. They've been growing a lot lately, but it's kind of neat to think maybe what other studios are out there that they may want to bring into the fold. That's exciting. Yeah.
And Todd Howard said something, I think it was during the Game Makers podcast. I bring up that podcast a lot, but there's a lot of good stuff in that podcast. He said that, and this goes back to Morrowind, before Morrowind, they had multiple studios all working on their own projects, and they said it kind of what almost tanked them, and if they didn't all unite under Morrowind, Bethesda Game Studios would have went under. So one tenet that Todd Howard tries to hold to is that if they have separate studios, they all more or less work on the same project. So that with that in mind and that going forward, that makes me wonder how that's going to be handled. Because obviously, I'm sure Todd Howard and a lot of the main developers are assisting with Fallout 76 or working directly on it. Like, they're all working together. But going forward, if they get more studios, is that still going to be the same thing? I would think it would be. But it's interesting to think. And then when I keep thinking like that, I keep trying to think more forward and forward into the future, and eventually I get to a point where Todd Howard and all those original developers are gone, and then I get sad. I get sad thinking of what the world will be like then.
Even though we know that, in that the making of Fallout 76, they said that as soon as Fallout 76 releases, Austin's going to work on that, and Maryland and Montreal is going to go fully on to Starfield. So that I know.
Oh, I'm so excited. Ooh. So excited. So my guess is Starfield 2019 or 2020 because next generation, then Elder Scrolls 6, and then maybe the Spyteam thing. Or it could be, check this out. Before Starfield, we had Fallout 76, which is like a multiplayer game. Maybe in between Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, we'll get whatever the Spyteam thing is going to be. And I do think Spyteam is going to be Bethesda Game Studios. Obviously, I don't know that for sure. It's just my opinion, and it's based on Bethesda Game Studios Austin. We've touched on this in the last podcast. Bethesda Game Studios Austin used to be Battlecry Studios. The main game they were working on was Battlecry, which was an online battle royale game. Before they got acquired for Bethesda Game Studios, they scrapped that game, but I'm pretty sure they still have all the assets and stuff for that game. And on top of that, they really obviously want to make a Battle Royale game because that was their main game they were working on for a while. So the developers creatively want to do that. So Bethesda having acquired Bethesda Game Studios Austin, Battlecry Studios, they still have all that Battle Royale stuff, all those assets. ZeniMax doesn't have a Battle Royale game really that I know of. So they could just repurpose all the stuff they have worked on already, and they still get to make the game they want to make as Bethesda Game Studios Austin, and it's Spyteam. And what do you think about my idea of what I want Spyteam to be PlayItForward? I want Spyteam to be like a different kind of battle royale game, to where it's still, you know, 50 players randomly in maps. There's different maps, like there could be a desert map of a military base, maybe a city, downtown, whatever. And the thing is, like, all the players are spies, right? And they all have the same objective. Everyone's trying to do the same objective. Whoever does it first and escapes wins. But there's different ways of doing this objective. You can, like, you know, there's side things you could do, different outlets, different creative ways you can do it, guns blazing, be sneaky, assassinate, whatever. But at the same time, you can try and mess with or call out or kill or get the other spies caught. So there's so many different variables of how you can win. You can set up other players, you can focus on the mission. I just think that would be interesting.
That does sound really cool.
It would have to be done right, and that's the thing. There have been multiplayer spy games before. Splinter Cell actually had a pretty good one, but it never took off because it was too... the learning curve wasn't quite as easy as most other games. So I'm wondering how they would do that, if it was something like that.
Yeah, that sounds great. But what if the game Spyteam, right? Well, what if that was an online game or like a free-to-play game for Starfield?
Well, that could be interesting.
I don't. I'm just pulling it out of the air here. I don't know, but you know, I could definitely see that. You know, along the launch with Starfield, you get Spyteam. Like I said, I don't know how it would happen, how they would do it, but it's an idea. But Skullzi, I like that a lot. Me personally, I don't think I would buy it. I'm not an online guy for Fallout. I'm making an exception. But me personally, I don't play Call of Duty. I don't play Elder Scrolls Online. I'm trying to think of online games. Battlefield. I don't play any of those games. I mainly play the single-player games, you know, so that might not be a game that I would buy regardless of who makes it. But it still sounds cool, you know. That sounds, you know, it sounds cool. It's just I don't think I would buy it personally.
I'm just curious as I mean, it could be anything. It's got the Class 9 classification, so it's most likely a game, but like it could be an app for a game. Who knows? Because the Pip-Boy thing for Fallout 4 was its own classified trademark with the Class 9 classification. So, I mean, it's just interesting because it was filed after E3. So, I mean...
I was about to say it could be a mobile game.
Yeah. It definitely sounds multiplayer for sure, though. I mean, Spyteam...
It
doesn't sound like something...
Did you guys hear... I didn't mean to change the subject, but did you guys hear that Fallout Shelter went over 90... Is it billion or million? Billion in sales. Billion?
Really?
Yeah, I'm making the Wolfman look. It just came out today. 90 billion, I believe, in sales.
Microtransactions, everybody. I like to see what the $90 billion. Wow.
It was either a billion or million. I mean, it was tweeted out today.
Billion's a lot.
Yeah, billion's quite the lot.
It might be a million.
Yankees aren't even worth 10.
Okay, maybe it was a million. But it was even 90 million's a lot.
Even that's a lot of
I think it was a million, but still,
that's
90 million.
Money.
That's amazing. I think it was a million. But
wow, that's crazy.
That's Fallout Shelter. I knew it was one of their very top. Well, that game, they said at E3, more people have played Fallout Shelter than any other game they've ever made.
Yeah. Man, I like Fallout Shelter, but it was kind of glitchy for me.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons they made the Blades game.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for Blades.
Yeah, I'm
can't
excited.
wait for Blades.
It's on. I retweeted it on Twitter, so look on my Twitter.
When is Blades supposed to come out?
This fall, I believe, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that's too far away, man. I don't want to wait till the fall for that stuff. Give it to me right now. I'm waiting for it now. I don't want to wait until the fall. Oh man. But and then Blades is another game. That's what I'm saying. It used to be like the dark abyss of darkness, waiting for another Bethesda game, like 4 years, 3 years of just nothing. Now we have all these other things. Fallout Shelter, we'll have Fallout 76, we'll have Blades. Man, it's going to be a cornucopia of Bethesda Game Studios content. And if this continues, which it probably will, that's going to be our future.
Yeah. It's always going to be something.
I'm so excited for that.
Certainly.
So excited for that, for sure. Oh man, what else is going to be at Quakecon? So there's going to be Doom. There's going to be Fallout 76. There will be Prey stuff.
Yes, they're going to show everything. They're going to show a little bit of the new Wolfenstein. You know, there's a new co-op Wolfenstein coming out that's actually the daughters of B.J. Blazkowicz. I can't say that good.
B.J. Blazkowicz. That was a fun game.
Also, of course, Quake is going to be all over the place.
Quake will be at Quakecon?
Yeah, that's surprising, isn't it?
That's so big news.
Y'all turkeys. And I got my Prey shirt on today. Can y'all see my Prey shirt? Isn't that awesome?
I need to get some shirts.
Which, you know, and I think I touched on this with you, Skullzi, and I want to mention it to you, Joe. I wished the core Bethesda fans would embrace the Bethesda Softworks games a little bit more, like Prey. There's some great games in Wolfenstein, some wonderful games out there, and I think the Bethesda community kind of just brushes those games off.
Yeah, I could see that.
Super games. You know, Wolfenstein won the best FPS game of the year in 2017, and you just don't hear much about it. Yeah, it's an amazing game.
It's an amazing game. The only tick I have with it is that there's some technical issues with the game not allocating enough space for its own memory. You have to like go into your settings sometimes and change that, and if people don't know how to do that, they're going to think the game's broken. But no, the game itself is really amazing.
My point is you just don't hear much about it in the Bethesda community, and I wished you would. I wish you'd hear more about it.
Yeah, especially Prey. Prey's really good, yeah.
It's very good.
That was a good point. And we touched on this last time, but just the fact that it can be 2018 and we're hearing not only about Quake and Doom still, but it's underneath Bethesda is amazing, because I grew up in the 90s playing the OG Doom and Quake, and those were very different games back then. I mean, Doom now is kind of similar. It has the same, you know, vibe and the same soul, but it's new, you know, it's new versions of it. It's much faster. Older Doom was more slower paced a little bit. Like you had to explore, find all the secrets, press the button to hit every inch of every wall in case it would open up and there'd be a shotgun or something. You know what I mean? And then Quake had 9 Inch Nails. Quake had Trent Reznor as the original. That's how he got famous, was making a soundtrack for that. So that was pretty cool. They should bring him back to QuakeCon. They should have Trent Reznor to be the DJ. Although he's kind of like an introvert, so he's not going to be doing that.
You know, sad to say, I have never tried Quake Champions. Never tried it to this day.
I've never tried it either, to be honest. I haven't played Quake since the 90s, but I just still have love for the game. It's not the same game anymore, so I don't really play it.
I'm with you. I played it in the 90s, and that's the last time I picked it up.
I'm not big on the fast-paced FPS multiplayer thing, like running and jumping from balcony to balcony at 80 miles an hour and like shooting at this part of the wall, because normally you have an 8% chance of a guy going there. You know, like No, thanks.
Well, I am so ashamed. Here I am, a Bethesda guy, and NoClip did a thing on Quake just like they did on Fallout. And there's like 5 or 6 Quakes. I had no idea. Did you know that? I had no clue.
I know about the story in all of them too. Like the story gets crazier and crazier as each Quake progresses.
Yeah, there's one in outer space, and it's crazy.
I think it was the third one, maybe. I don't know. The first one was just like alien demons. I don't remember, but it was creepy.
Yeah,
it was a creepy game.
A cross between Doom and Alien or something. Yeah.
And even like the choose your difficulty rating, like it would put you in a room and you'd have easy, medium, and hard. Easy would be like walking through flowers to get to a doorway and the game would start. Medium, you just walk down a doorway with like lava around you. But hard, you'd have to somehow survive like this crazy situation even to start the game on hard or nightmare. I think it was nightmare. Like there'd be lava falling on top of you. There'd be no clear way to get to the door. Like it was OG 90s
That's
game
really cool, man.
Intensity. Yeah. It was pretty cool. Doom was intense too back then, and even all the secrets in those games. The amounts of secrets in those older games. Even to beat like I think it was Doom 2 maybe. Even to beat that game, you'd have to like figure out a secret on that last level, because there'd be no way to hurt the final boss. It would take like 1,000 rockets to actually beat the game, like just by shooting the ending boss. The way to beat it was you'd have to like hit a switch or something, and then actually go towards the gigantic boss's head and go into his mouth, and then there was like a head on a pike in his mouth that you had to shoot. And that's how you beat... I think it was the second Doom. It may have been the third. One of those, it ended that way, yeah. So, man, it's just crazy to hear about Doom and Quake in 2018. And it's Bethesda. And you're about to be there.
Yes.
KingFan. Well, you
awesome,
are technically
man.
there.
I'm
that
there.
Is awesome.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome.
I will give videos and pictures. I will keep y'all up to date, so y'all stay tuned. Y'all check out my
that
channel.
Twitter going nuts, man.
Yes, I will. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Take as many pictures of the Todd Howard as possible.
The Todd Howard.
I would love to meet him, but he kind of slips off. I probably get to meet Pete, but Todd, I don't think so. He kind of slips off backstage normally.
I don't think anyone really gets to meet Todd.
Yeah, he goes back in the Holy of Holies, and they put the shrine over him. He don't get to, he don't get to come out.
He walks through the portal and he's back in Canada or wherever he is.
Yeah.
He just teleports back. Yeah, he's just gone.
That's hilarious.
Oh man.
But I think Pete Hines is here all week. I think he's kind of hanging out through the whole thing.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Pete Hines is an awesome dude. Oh,
I would
really
not want his job though.
no.
Would you want to deal with all that he has to deal with?
Oh, no way, no. I already deal with a big portion of it in the comment section. I don't want
Exactly.
the whole percentage
Yeah, I was
of
about to
it.
say, just dealing with my channel. No. And my subscribers are awesome. So
Yeah. Man, my subscribers are awesome too, but anytime a video gets a lot of views, I get like people from outside of that bubble. And man, the hate's crazy. Even on my latest video, right? I looked at the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer. I look at it almost every day. I saw something that looked like a sphinx. It looked like a sphinx to me. It looked like a monument. I could understand that maybe it's not. I understand that, but in my opinion, it looked like a monument or a sphinx. So I put a video
you
about
get killed
that.
for it.
And dude, the comments were like, Skullzi must not have any content left to make. He's retarded. He's lying for views. I'm like,
that's absolutely ridiculous. I honestly, Skullzi, like honestly, man, you make these videos that people don't make, and you find out all this different information, and I'm fascinated by it. It's pretty freaking awesome. You should have a much bigger following than what you have currently, because your content's fantastic, and you just posted a video about your opinion, and you got killed for it? That's
dude, I got destroyed for it.
It's just silly. People
First
are
time in
silly.
forever, yeah.
Yeah. They're just
I had
silly.
to actually delete comments for like the first time because some of them were just so ridiculously hateful. And that's why I brought up the R word, because I'd never say that to anybody. But that like people were literally calling me retarded. I'm like, really? Like they're saying that I'm garbage and I must like be straight up lying to people for money and for views. That's what I'm doing.
oh my word.
That's what I'm doing right now. I thought I saw a sphinx in the trailer and thought it would be cool to share that with everyone. So I'm a retarded liar now, guys. I'm sorry.
Clickbait!
So I got all that too. I got clickbait. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the microphone. I got clickbait all over the place. Clickbait for what? For thinking there was a lion in the freaking rocks? That's clickbait?
It did look like a line. It looked like a line to me.
Dude, it looked like a Khajiit or something. You could see the neck. It had like this. Like the shape. It had this exact. Look at my big ass Adam's apple. It had that exact shape. Like that was there. It looked like the person had lips and then a nose. The eyes are scrunched together, but you're telling me this rock just happened to have 70% of the features of a face. And then it had like, man, I even put a picture up of the Sphinx over it. And they made it transparent. I'm like, look how similar this looks. And then I said, I understand it may not be that.
Skullzi, just remember what happened to all those people that hated on you before E3.
Yeah, I know, but some of them still are like, oh, that's different. I'm like, how is that different? Oh, man.
No.
I guess we just gotta get used to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Skullzi, I've been a subscriber of yours for a long time now. And like I'm happy that I'm doing this podcast with you and with you also. This is a lot of fun. But Skullzi, honestly, man, don't pay attention to anybody. The negativity. Your work is awesome. Screw everybody else. Just do what you're doing, man. Your content's great.
I appreciate
honestly.
that, man.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, your content's great, dude.
Well, I back that up 100%, and that video especially, I loved it, and I see it. So if you're retarded, then I'm extra retarded right along with you. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys. You guys
If
are...
I would have seen it first, I would have made the video too. You just saw it before I
I
did.
think anyone would have, man. I mean, it looked like a sphinx. I don't think it. I get it if you think that it looked like a normal rock, and I'm like, look at this rock. This rock could be anything. No, I think it looked like it. I think it did. That's why I did the video.
I have figured out people they really do. They love to try to act like they are smarter than YouTubers. They really do. They want to prove that they are smarter than we are.
If they are, make a channel and then make a video about it.
Take the time out of your day from playing the games you love to do videos. I love making the videos. I mean, if you don't like making videos, I do. That's why I'm doing them. You know what I mean? But don't hate on me for it. And thank you guys for the support. And man, you guys, this podcast is actually one of the things I look forward to the most during the week. Like, I mean, we all, between our channels and all this other crazy stuff we have going on, it may be hard sometimes to get together, but man, I love the times we get together. So you guys are awesome. Yes. I can't wait to see where we go from this. And I'm sure when we get bigger, because I'm sure we all will, we'll probably get even more of that blind hate.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, speaking of comments, do we have any comments this week to talk about? Do we have any good comments to talk about?
Let us see some. Yeah, I can check some out. Let me see. Let's look at some comments. We are getting a little close to that time, huh? Let us see. Let me pull them up. Yeah, let's we can respond to some. And any that you guys have that you may want to respond to on your own videos or elsewhere, by all means, go ahead. I'm pulling up mine now, and as I see any that are interesting, I'll pull them up. But I did have to actually purge some comments from that video, because I'm like, really, guys? I mean, I get it, you don't see the Sphinx, but do you want me to die in a fire now? Okay, I get it. Yeah, you don't see the rock, so I deserve to be murdered. Oh, see, this guy says I'm fairly certain it's just missed. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. They just want... Yeah. See, Victor Sloan says, I'm fairly certain it's just the mist swirling around the mountain. See, they're not crappy, but at least they give their opinion in a nice way, right? Like, that's cool. You think the mist is just is making it look like it has those features. Okay, I can nod at you for that. Thank you for your opinion, man, and thank you for not being 7 years old. Thank you. What else we say? Cucumber says, hey Skullzi, there is something I discovered as well. When we look at the end of the trailer, we see a mountain with a very unusual sharp peak, and in my eyes it looks like a structure, a castle maybe. What do you think? You didn't give me a timestamp, so I don't know where to go with that. There's a bunch of mountains in the background, but like I said, even the original quality of the trailer is low quality, so it's hard to make out stuff way back, low poly in the background, and it's foggy, and the camera's moving fast. If you are talking about the castle ruins that are in the podcast, then yes, that is ruins of a castle, and that's one of the main reasons why I think it's High Rock, because of both the Orcish ruins and the Breton nobility. That stretches way back with the rise and the fall of castles and noble houses and stuff like that. So yeah. So don't know. Give me a timestamp, man. Maybe reply back to your comment. I'll look at it. I'll looks at it. What else? I don't think High Rock. And I don't even think the line would be in Hammerfell. To me, the line could be one of two things. You would think Hammerfell, right? Because in our world, the place that looks like Hammerfell has the Sphinx and the pyramids. But I've played ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. I didn't see anything like that in Hammerfell, which leads me to believe maybe elsewhere because of the Khajiit, right? And the lion or whatever. But I don't think there are giant cat statues in elsewhere, but I didn't see a Sphinx-like structure. But in Akavir, there are tiger and supposedly lion people, so maybe it's Akavir. Maybe it's Akavir, but Pete Hines says that they're probably never going to make a game outside of Tamriel, but he said a lot of things. So who knows? So it's hard to say. Oh yeah. And look at how much of a difference in terms of the smoothness of the rock is at the main. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks structured to me. It looks like it was carved. For sure. Oh, here's one. Piolin the Boss commented on my most recent video, the one where I talk about the Sphinx that everyone hates and wants me to die for. He says in 1935 of the no-clip Fallout 76 documentary, you see the Akaviri wall behind the guy. You can see what looks like the Numinium. Could Bethesda be trying to give us hints? I'd have to look at that. That's interesting. Very interesting. Maybe Bethesda is giving us hints. I'd have to look at that. It could be possible. Might be. Yeah. That is true. That is very true. And, I don't believe that the Redguard were in the Daggerfall Covenant, though. But no, that is true. It is a lion. The Bretons are? Oh, wow, okay. Huh, that's very interesting. That might be a thing. I mean, we haven't seen very much of High Rock. No, it's true. And plus the ESO... Oh, yes, that's right. And, ESO maps aren't fully accurate anyway. Like, Cyrodiil wasn't completely accurate. So you can't take those maps to heart. There's obviously more to those places. See, Equalizer on that same video says kind of looks like a Khajiit carved in the mountain. Seth Woods says it looks like Hitler. Okay, I don't think it looks like Hitler, but that kind of... You say I know, right? Roman Salath said waiting for the copyright strike. Okay, yeah. Skullzi sees a Khajiit. Copyright strike. Oh man. Yeah, they're gonna sue us. Refrigerated memes. It is probably High Rock, but I hope to hell that it's elsewhere. I really want to explore elsewhere. Also, just shooting in the dark here. It would be epic if the story revolves around the third Akaviri invasion. That would be interesting. Finally get to see some of those Akaviri races. That would be pretty awesome. What else we got? I mean, if it were a Sphinx... okay, so Kumbi says if there were a Sphinx in the Elder Scrolls lore, they'd agree with me. Okay, that kind of makes a little bit of sense, but I mean, it still looks like something. It may not have to be a Sphinx. I mean, the Sphinx is the actual name of that very specific structure, but there's other things shaped like the Sphinx in Egypt and Numidia, but they're not called the Sphinx. So it doesn't have to be a Sphinx. I just call it that because that's the most noteworthy thing, you know what I mean? Like if something looked like Stonehenge, it doesn't mean everything like that is Stonehenge, you know? What else we got? What else do we got here? I'm gonna go to the podcast itself, and we're gonna look up at some of those comments, because I have so many comments on these last couple of videos that it would take me forever to go through those. I'll feature those in future videos. Let's try and pull up some podcast comments. My internet is being slow. And by the way, guys, that means leave us even more comments for future podcasts. We need plenty of comments to respond to. Yes. Ask us anything. And fan art, too. We'll always showcase fan art if that ever happens. But that would be pretty interesting. Oops, I went back too far on my videos list. Where's the last podcast? It should be this one. Here it is. Here it is, alright. So yeah, leave us plenty of comments, guys. We love responding to the comments. We need more. We need so many more to reply to. But thank you for everyone that has left us some so far. Okay, these were on the... I paused this. I have an ad playing on my video, even though I paused it. It's forcing itself through the pause to play audio. Alright, so these are on our last episode, episode 3, the one with KingFanMan and I. It didn't load the comments. They're loading right now. There they go. Okay. The Lost Prophet said Todd Howard is too busy stalking Camel to do interviews. Probably true. What was Todd Howard doing on the ground anyway with the people, with the peasants? He never gets to meet... No one ever gets to meet him. What was he doing there? Weird. Was it? Was it Photoshop, though? It didn't look like it. Maybe. James Hirschfeld says, I think Spyteam might be from Bethesda Game Studios Austin after Fallout 76. There was a spy game in development at Daybreak Company, was at their Austin studio, but the team got laid off, but most of them are at Bethesda Game Studios Austin now, so Spyteam could be similar to the agency covert ops. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I'm not familiar with Daybreak or any of that stuff, but yeah, Bethesda Game Studios Austin, as I said, is probably the most likely culprit as of right now. So yes. Azil Allah says Robin Williams was awesome. Yes, he was. FanMan, you got a new FanMan. Oh, there you go. And then Bethesda, don't puck it up. There you go. You just existed, man. You just had to exist. What else do we got? Here's one we'll go with. Jokin' Juggernaut. I cannot believe how hypocritical Bethesda has been. One MMO before Save Player 1. That one after, and both were two of their biggest IPs. Someone please explain to me how Bethesda is better than EA at this point. Sings, it's all over but the dreaming. Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is right after Save Player 1, they didn't do either one of their two new IPs. They did an MMO. We've touched on this before. They're trying new things. And they tried to nod at everyone who's saying exactly what you're saying by showing us two trailers that they otherwise would have never showing us. I mean, and they saved my skin there. Thankfully, all the digging I did was verified by that. But yeah, man, I don't think... This is a golden age for Bethesda, right? Mad 19? Huh. Oh, yeah. Dude, they killed Command and Conquer. I grew up on that shit. They killed it, and then they kept beating it, and it's like that scene from The Simpsons, where Ralph is like, stop it! He's already dead! And they're just kicking the person on the ground. Like, just leave Command and Conquer alone. Oh, I love The Sims, yes. The expansion pack thing, dude. Every expansion pack from the last Sims should have been normal release content for the base game. How many times are you going to release pets and seasons? So you're selling us a world where there's no pets or rain? That's an expansion pack? Should expansion packs be like this new cool town where there's a mystery to discover and other stuff, and maybe now you can like have a boathouse? Like, I understand that, but effing weather and dogs and cats, that's a normal part of life. Isn't The Sims supposed to be a simulation of life? Like, what life is it to where it doesn't rain and it never changes? There's no temperature outside, guys. Welcome to your new life. And there's no temperature. There's no pets. There's no rain, but somehow people make food. I don't know. The Sims, everybody. EA, let's just release the same expansion packs over and over. And let's use the same name now, too. They don't even change the names. Same names. It's ridiculous. And maybe they did the Save Player 1 thing because they knew they were about to announce an MMO and they wanted to let people know, hey, don't forget, we're still this. Ugh. It was already in the progress. And... Yeah. And the whole, Elder Scrolls 6, that was nuts, man. And let us remember what the Save Player 1 campaign is. If you actually saw the commercial and you actually know why that came out, it wasn't because Bethesda was trying to tell us they're only making single-player games. Save Player 1 was in the defense of the gamer, because even so many companies were turning to multiplayer for the sole point of microtransactions. That so many game developers were forcing multiplayer into games just for microtransactions. What happened? What happened, guys? Is my audio not working? Oh, I went in and out. Okay, my bad, guys. So all I was saying was that the Save Player 1 thing was not to let people know that Bethesda was only going to be making these games. It was mostly because at the time developers were forcing multiplayer into their games for the sole purpose to make microtransactions because it was so profitable. So the Save Player 1 thing was in defense, saying that they stand against the microtransaction stuff that is so common right now and they will never do it. So I understand it sounds like Save Player 1 is only single player, but really it was. That's not why they did that campaign. So let's get that straightened out right now, everybody. Stop using that as a thing. It's microtransactions. Yeah. And I think they already said that wasn't going to be in Fallout 76. If it was it was going to be for stuff that doesn't alter the game. It was only
like cosmetics only.
Stuff. Yeah. Like, you weren't going to be able to buy currency or none of that. So, yeah. So that's awesome. And I think that's all the main comments we had on our last podcast. We need more. Leave us more comments on the podcast, guys. Please. This is episode 4. Episode 5, we need to have at least like 20 comments. You can do it. You guys can do it. You can type stuff, I think, probably. I think you can. Anything you guys want to say in our last few minutes of episode 4 of Gaming Insight?
I enjoyed it as always. I can't wait to tell y'all bye and go play Rage.
Oh, yes. We need to be on your channel this weekend, man. I'll get a hold of us. We'll set something up, man. And we'll do it for sure this weekend. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for everyone. Congratulations again.
Yes, Joe. Congratulations.
Man, awesome.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the land of marriage.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell your fiance we said congratulations.
I will. I appreciate that. She'll watch this and she'll see it. So awesome. She watches everything I do. Yeah, she's super supportive.
And what's her name again?
Her name's Michelle.
Congratulations,
Hello, Michelle. Congrats.
Oh, thanks. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Before we go, I want to ask you guys a quick question, all right? So, to my channel, I want to add like a Let's Play series. But it's going to be either Fallout 4 modded, New Vegas modded, 3 modded, or any of those 3 games but vanilla. And I spoke with Dom, and Dom said you should really replay Fallout 3, but the vanilla version, because a lot of people maybe that play Fallout 4 maybe haven't played Fallout 3. So if you do that, it'll introduce even more people to Fallout 3. So what do you guys think I should play?
I agree.
I think I agree with that, because by now anyone that would be doing Fallout 3 would probably be doing it modded. So I think that's actually an excellent point, and that would set you apart and bring in new people for Bethesda. Oh, that's good.
And I know a lot that either hasn't played it at all or at least haven't finished Fallout 3 for sure.
I loved Fallout 3. It was like one of my favorites, man.
So I think I'm leaning towards that. So I wanted to know what you guys thought about that. And also, Skullzi and you, King, I would love to have both of you on my podcast. You know, it doesn't have to be at the same time. It could be at different times, but I would like, King, you were on it. You were great on it. I would like for you to be on it again. And you, Skullzi, I would love to have you on as well. So
for sure. Yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's set a time and let's do it. I am excited.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. This has been an awesome episode. Yeah. And you are about to have a good time at Quakecon, aren't you, man? I'm so jealous but excited for you.
Me too.
So Stay tuned, guys, for some more information about Quakecon from KingFanMan. Make sure you subscribe to everyone's channels. Links are in the description below. And look for us on each other's podcast here soon. We're going to talk about some Quakecon stuff. And as always, thank you for watching. Hopefully next week we can have a guest on. I have some people lined up. We just haven't been able to get the time between us and between our guests. But we'll get there, guys. Either way, thanks to everyone. Thank you, KingFanMan. Thank you, Joe PlayItForward.
Thanks.
Love
man.
you guys.
Appreciate it. Yep.
Thanks, Elder Scrolls Nation. As always, thank you for watching. Bye.
It just works.